We're going to assume that the employees were fired or terminated for some reason on January 1st of 2018, and we're going to look at what the organization that issued restricted shares should do to account for that termination. I've left all these entries up here. We recorded at the date of grant. We recorded unearned compensation, that's the contra equity account, issued the stock, and then for 2 years, at the end of each year, we recorded compensation expense for 1/4 of the service period. And I didn't put the 3rd or 4th year up here because the employees were terminated at this point in time. So we had all of that happen, and what the accounts would look like at this point in time is we would have had a $60 million debit in unearned compensation, and we would have applied a credit to that account for each of these 2 subsequent years when we recorded a portion of that compensation expense being earned. And these we would have an expense account that would have hit $15 million for each year as well. And so when the employee quits, they're no longer going to get the stock because they're not outside of the vesting period, and the restrictions on this particular stock haven't been lifted yet. So we're going to eliminate the common stock and the paid-in capital in excess of par. And I've got the actual entire journal entry here for us, but I'll just delete a couple of those things. First, we're going to, like I said, debit the common stock to remove it because it's got a credit balance of $5 million. We're going to debit it for $5 million, and the paid-in capital in excess of par for $55 million. And now it becomes a little more challenging to understand why we're doing what we're doing. We have a $30 million debit balance in the unearned compensation account, so we logically have to get rid of that because the stock is now being eliminated, so this unearned compensation should be eliminated. And by crediting the unearned compensation account, we're zeroing it out. And now the question really that we need to look into and try to answer is, what about this $30 million of compensation expense that we realized in the prior 2 accounting periods? And the argument is, well, that really shouldn't be have been realized because the employee has been terminated and they never got these stock or the restricted shares, and so it shouldn't have been a compensation expense in the first place. We're not going to go back. The rules say that we're not going to restate retained earnings or make any prior period adjustment. What we do is we compensate for this or remove it prospectively. So this $30 million of compensation expense gets actually credited in the year in which the shares are forfeited. And this doesn't really fit with our matching expense, the matching principle, because an argument could be made that that expense should have been removed in the prior 2 years, and now we've got this huge credit in compensation expense for $30 million is somewhat misleading. However, that's how the current accounting rules say we should state the termination of the restricted shares. So that's all that's done at that point in time, and we can consider this problem complete.